Welcome to the field. I'm Brad Hare with Southern Farmer Magazine. I'm here today with Dr. John Beasley. He is the University of Georgia Cooperative Extension peanut agronomist. Hey, Dr. Beasley. Thank you for joining me, man.
Absolutely.
Right now we're looking at, in the state of Georgia, record-breaking crops. Saying bumper's not even the correct term. United States, the same thing. Recent reports show that the crop in Georgia is going to average over 2 tons, which is fascinating. But if you look at this year's crop, there's a similarity you found. There's a lot to be learned from 2003 to explain 2012. What were some of those things you said?
Well, the number one thing, or there were 2 or 3 things. Number one was the maximum temperature, very similar, much more cooler than normal. The average over the majority of the growing season was in around that 89-degree mark, which normally is 91, 92. And on the low side, it was more in that line of 68, 69 instead of 72. And you say, well, that's just 2 degrees, but 2 to 3 degrees has a tremendous bearing when it's an average over that. So the temperatures that the plant itself felt were not near as high. And the reason that's important is because the blooming and the fruiting or pegging of the plants is much more efficient at those slightly cooler temperatures. Okay. And then the rainfall events. Yes, we did have some dry spells in there, but the length of those dry spells were minimal. Maybe toward the end of June, 1st of July. And then after that, we had very good rainfall. And there were some areas of the state that had some drier weather on into August, but even those had some relief. So when you look at the rainfall amounts and the frequency, very similar to 03.
Which was an exceptional. That was the benchmark for perfect growing season.
Absolutely. That's the year that I look at, the things worked just perfectly. And here we've almost mimicked those weather conditions throughout 2012. But then you add in the other tools that growers have, like improved genetics in the cultivars and the new fungicides that we have added to the ones we already had back then, and some of the herbicides, and just all the strategies growers are using, and everything has just worked great to where instead of a 100-pound increment increase, we're looking at about a 500 to 600 yield improvement over the previous record. It's just amazing.
That's right. So let me ask you this. We've got these newer varieties, which a lot of this can be pegged on. Also with just peanut farmers just know how to grow peanuts. But do you think, I think we talked about this a year or 2 ago, almost every year, have we reached the yield potential for these newer varieties that are out there now?
We don't know.
We don't know.
We don't know, Brad. And you know what's interesting about it is I've heard rumors of some 8,000-pound average yields this year. I haven't heard it verified, but I know that last year, or at least in 2011 in Georgia, the record, or excuse me, the highest yield that we had entered into our yield program was a little over 7,200 pounds. We've never had over 7,000 pounds for that size acreage. We've had for like 5 acres or less, we've had that. Sure. But for 200, 300 acres, we've never had that. And so we were over 7,000. And then all of a sudden you're hearing about this year, there might be some fields that made over 8,000 pounds. So we don't know what the absolute yield potential of everything hit just absolutely perfectly right. But certainly, when you think of the entire state averaging over 4,000 pounds when previously it was a little over 3,500 pounds, it just blows your mind that we could even be at that point in time. But like I said, everything hit just right.
That's right. 2012 peanut crop is a bumper crop. There's no other word to say it, but what it does prove is with a little bit of help from Mother Nature, peanut farmers today have the toolbox they need to knock it out of the park. Just with a little bit of help from Mother Nature, they can do it.
Absolutely. They have the tools. It just comes down to management. Yeah. And we have a lot of great producers here in the Southeast, and that's our role, my role, our county agents. We're just trying to help them by getting the information to them on a timely basis so they can take advantage of the tools and just hopefully be blessed with those great growing conditions.
That's right. And even though 2012 was one of those becoming a benchmark year for perfect conditions, does not mean 2013 is going to be it either. So they've got to have the management decision. And John, I'm going to come back and talk to you too, because they're going to need help next year, just like they needed it this year.
Absolutely.
Need it.
Be glad to.
And until next time, take care, give thanks, and good luck from the Sunbelt Ag Expo in Moultrie, Georgia.